Hey, everybody. I missed you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I'm Megan with the Academy of Logic and Light, and welcome to a Monday Night Astrology. This is our live astrology class where we have Julie and Elle as our teachers. They're going to walk you through some really cool topics and drop your questions in the chat, and they'll be getting to those by the end of the episode. It's going to be, about an hour long, so hang out. And if we don't get to your question when you first ask it, we'll definitely get to it by the end. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you want to pull up your chart on astro.com, we'll have Julie kind of showing where things are on a birth chart the way that they're shown there so that you can refer back to it as well. Anyway, so a little bit about the Academy of Logic and Light. We are a community education platform that provides a safe space for people to practice their spirituality without being indoctrinated. We have monthly meetups, both virtually and in person. So this upcoming Sunday, we're going to be doing a virtual full moon gathering. So we'd love for you to join us for that. And we are on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and we have a Facebook group all under Academy of Logic and Light. And we also have a Patreon. So if you like what you see and you want to support us over there, it's just $5 a month. And you can help us kind of get the ball rolling, keep producing classes, keep paying for our website, things like that. And if you're interested in teaching with us, we'd love to have you. We have a sign up now. If you click on the top link down below, we've got a section where you can fill out a sheet to come and work with us, and we would love to have you join us and join our team and help teach whatever cool things you're able to do. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm rusty.
One Monday.
I know. All right, well, thanks so much for letting me join you. I'll be here in the chat, and I'll run a little our old intro and then let these teachers just learn you something real good.
Learn you something real good.
I just realized that drinking red wine is probably not the best thing to drink when I'm alive. So if my mouth starts getting purple, my apologies. Thank you for that, Megan. That was great. We're going to learn you something real good.
We're going to start this one off with a laugh, which is great because we're doing 10th house energy today and it's kind of serious, I feel like.
I love 10th house. We all know I love 10th house, but it is more serious. It's not as fun. It's not like 5th house or 9th house. So
yeah.
And 9th house was fun. I hope you all enjoyed me screaming at my child last week, not children. So I didn't rewatch it because I was like, I don't want to see that. I thought I was on mute. I was not. No. Sorry.
It's all good. This is real time, reality. This is as real as it gets. We're in pajamas and glasses today. It's fine.
And I'm an asshole mother and I don't care. I yell at my children. Sorry. Well, right. I'm excited. I love the 10th house. I say this all the time. It's all about career. It's all about public role, the things we want to be shining, climbing those corporate ladders. If you have a lot of 10th house placements, a lot of houses, or a lot of planets in your house, or none, just depending what the ruler is, it can really indicate the significance of your career. Some people, that's all they live for, and other people are just like bumming it on the beach, and good for both of you. So
no shame in the game.
They can't help it.
All right, I'm going to do this first so that we just kind of show them again kind of where we're at and how to do this.
So when you're looking at your 10th house ruler, you're going to go to your 10th house, which is up at the top, which just fun fact, when you were born around 11:30 to 1:30, you have a highly likely 10th house sun. So indicates where the sun is in the sky. Think about it as the horizon, where the sun is at the time of birth. It can indicate that. So depending on where you are in the world. So you find the 10th house, and then you find the line that starts that, the cusp, which is right there. And as you can see, mine is in Libra. So Libra is my 10th house ruler. So we would follow my Libra Venus, which rolls Libra. So you go find Venus, and mine's right next door in the 9th house.
Which is actually ruled by Leo, right?
It's ruled by Leo, yeah. So it takes if you look at it, this is a fun one. Mine is kind of fun in this aspect because if you look at the ruler, then you go back to the sun. So my 9th and 10th house flip-flop. They switch. Like you follow it back and forth. So my passion, my love, my career, it all aligns. And I can honestly tell you, I've never had a job I didn't love. I switch it up. I change it up. But I've always had careers that I've loved. And it really shows with my passion and how I align things. Because you look, my Mars is right there with an orb of my Mercury. And then my Venus is with an orb of my sun. It connects all of that really tightly.
And this is what she means by orbs, like the closeness, right?
Yeah. So if you look at my sun, it's 9 degrees. And my Venus is in 12 degrees. So that is within 5 degrees. And then you see my Mercury is right there at 17 and 14 with my Mars. So it all really connects. My passion, my work, my success really is driven by doing what I love, being passionate, all these things. But even though Leo is my 9th house ruler, all my planets are in Virgo because Virgo is an intercepted for me because it's just a small little squish in there. So that's a whole nother study, teaching.
Fun.
All the fun stuff. So that's how you find your 10th house ruler. So if you go to Julie's, we'll do another one just to kind of, because it can kind of shift and change a little bit. So you look at her 10th house, it's a little different. It goes straight up. It's also her MC, which is like career central over here. And hers is Taurus. Again, since hers is Taurus and Taurus is ruled by Venus, then we go find Venus. And it's down there in the 6th house. So this gives her her career. It being in Taurus already makes her pretty, I would say, persistent in career. Not a lot of change in what she does per se, as far as like what she enjoys doing. She kind of keeps that persistent. And then her Venus being in the 6th house, I mean, daily routine is important to her, and keeping the consistency of the job plus the daily routine, which being a flight attendant doesn't 100% line up with that because there's no real daily routine. But, if you look at some other things in your chart with the sun in the 5th house of fun and just, the excitement of things, and that Aquarius being right there, it gives you kind of more of an eccentric mindset with the 6th house because you got a lot of Aquarius in there. So different things in your chart can change change the setup. All right, and this one again lines up straight up to the MC. It's right up the top, and then this one is going to be in Capricorn. I would guess this person takes let's see. Yeah, this person probably takes their work pretty serious and appreciates it and enjoys it, and is probably really good at what they do, especially with all that Sagittarius. They're having a good time at work.
And Capricorn, I can't remember which one. Who rules Capricorn?
Saturn. So then we follow Saturn.
Oh.
Which there might have been, a lot of lessons, a lot of things to learn here. With having Capricorn rule your 10th house, careers can sometimes be hard for these people. I wouldn't say this particular one, but a lot of times when you have Capricorn in the 10th house, turn that down. Especially depending on where Pluto is. In this case, I wouldn't be too worried about it, but a lot of times it can indicate just a challenging, you go through a lot of careers trying to figure it out, and maybe you don't have luck with like good bosses, or you work with a lot of assholes, especially if there's like 6th house, a lot of things going on with the 6th house and connecting here. It can be trouble with employees for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Alrighty.
All the things you guys can go back and find.
This is your cheat sheet if you need to cheat. Man said Capricorn rules your 10th. That's got to be good though, right? That's like optimal, right?
I mean, yeah, depending on where other things are, it can give you this really like very focused career energy. Whereas if you have things that are a little lighter, like having a Pisces sun, I would say softens that a little bit. It doesn't make you so harsh and so cutthroat in the career world. It makes you like, we can all be friends here and make money and succeed. You know, Pisces has that sweet kind of energy. So if you have a Pisces sun and there's a lot of things going on with the Capricorn ruling the 10th house, it can give you a softer personality when it comes to the grind and the cutthroat in the world, you know. I just don't see Megan being very like powerhousing and like pushing people down to get through. That can be Capricorn 10th house energy, and I just don't see that with her.
She's way too nice.
She is nice. She's sweet. She's not trying to cut anyone to get to the top.
No.
All right. So if your ruler of the 10th house is in the first house, so let's say that your 10th house ruler is Aries. So the 10th house we know is career, public roles, being successful, how you appear, your reputation. And when you think of Aries, you think of like the person that's probably going to cut people to get to the top. You know, like that, just kind of those two energies together, Aries with in the 10th house. So let's say that your Mars is in the 10th house, or even your Mars is in the first house, because Aries is ruled by Mars. This can give this person a very harsh and just demanding kind of personality. It can make them very, again, cutthroat, you know, just worried about being successful, not caring who they hurt in the process. Not always. I mean, again, it depends on other things in your chart, but this can really be a recipe for someone who's so driven that they can't really see that, you know, or care that they're hurting people to be successful. So not the best duo, I would say. I mean, I think that this lesson comes later in life, that you can get to the top and destroy everyone on the way, but like, what's the point of celebrating the top if you don't have anyone there to celebrate it with? I think this is like those people that have those moments of like, well, fuck, I didn't think about like being here alone. You know, I screwed everybody on the way up because I needed to get here. And so I think there's a lesson in that. And I think that if you've experienced that and you have this placement, it's probably, you know, you were meant to learn that in your chart. And it was a lesson that you had to learn in this life. So but definitely not recommended. Try to work on yourself if you find yourself doing that. If your ruler of the 10th house is in the second house, so let's pretend that Taurus rules your 10th house, and let's say your Venus is in the second house. So Taurus is consistent. They are steady. You know, the 10th house with career, this makes a great person, depending on what planets are in the 10th house and what planets are in the, you know, second house and other placements too. This can be a really good, consistent, loyal worker. The person that works at the career for 50 years, works their way up, not because they're like going over and above and beyond and being super like, what can I do? And how do I do this? They're not these innovators. It's not going to be Gemini energy. It's just going to be, I showed up every day. I did my work. I paid attention to the details. I clocked out and I went home. It's that person that really went through a whole career of showing up. Like they probably never missed a day in their life. And
I know those people.
They just showed up. They did their job and they went home. They didn't go like over and above to like, you know, exceed the expectation, but they definitely showed up. And that means something, because consistency, you know, especially back in the day, I feel like.
I was saying, this giving boomer vibes for sure.
Boomer vibes for sure. So
clock in, clock out.
We're done for the day. Go home,
Yeah.
eat dinner with your family, and go to bed.
Probably the same meal.
I'm not going to say it's boring, but I'm just saying it's not a lot of fun. But you could have other things. So if you have this and you're like, I'm a lot of fun and I go to work and I fucking kill it every day, good for you. There's probably a lot of things in your chart that indicate and shift that a little bit. So I'm just speaking generally. So,
yeah.
Which brings me to my next one. If your ruler of your 10th house is in the third house. So let's pretend that Gemini rules your 10th house. Gemini's so fun. It's all about communication. It's ruled by Mercury. So let's chase Mercury and say it's down in the third house. When Gemini rules your 10th house, it gives this innovative way of thinking, out of the box way of thinking, fun, childlike way of thinking, and how you get to the top and how you succeed in career and how your public role is very childlike, and you do things in a way that may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but you enjoy it. It's a pleasure, and having fun is crucial for your success in career. You might change careers a lot. I just read a study that people that change careers a lot make more money. I wasn't really sure how it all works, but it was like if you changed a career every like 4 to 7 years, you're likely to make double what you would have made if you just would have stayed at the same company. I think it's like a 3%, increase each year if you think about it. And you guys, like, it kind of made sense. So this is that kind of energy. If your Gemini rules your 10th house, it's mutable, it switches, it changes. Anytime if you want to look at the house or the sign that rules your house, any house in your chart, if you look at whether it's mutable, fixed, or cardinal, it's really going to show you the areas where you switch a lot, where you change a lot, where you do not switch, or where you do not change at all, depending if it's like a fixed sign. If it's mutable, it's a lot of change. And then cardinal is a place where you're a really self-starter and you kind of ignite the energy of that house. So this one is a mutable, Gemini's mutable. So it's one of those, you might switch careers often, but it's for the better, and you are the one making the choice. It's not like you're getting fired. You're saying, this isn't working for me. I have outgrown this. This isn't fun anymore. On to the next. If Gemini rules your 7th house, you might find yourself changing relationships often in your 20s. When you get old, you're over it. All right. So if your ruler of the 10th house is in the 4th house, so let's pretend that Cancer rules your 10th house. Keep in mind that Cancer is the complete opposite of the 10th house, where the 10th house is career and financial success and being successful. Cancer is like homebody, doesn't care what people think of them, doesn't need to be this successful person, just wants to be home and motherly and loving, and that's what's important to Cancer. So this one can be a little challenging. If you have Cancer that rules the 10th house, there might be this confliction in what you strive for in career, what you actually want. You might find yourself in a lot of careers that seem to be what you want, but then once you get there, it just doesn't feel like home, or doesn't give you that good feeling, that homey feeling, or that comfort feeling, I should say. Maybe not home, because probably nowhere feels like home when you're out in the world. But it can be conflicting. It can be challenging because Cancer really likes to be home and work is not the theme of the life. Cancer energy is more based on family and home life. So if you find that you are very driven and you have Cancer rules your 10th house, then look at the planets are there, chase your moon and see what house your moon is in, because the moon rules, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So see where your moon is. Like if you have a really active moon, that can indicate a lot of energy in the career, that you maybe do psychology or something that you connect with people. That might be what feeds your soul, or you could be nurturing and mothering like children. Maybe you're a teacher, things like that. I would say would be the best career choice for someone that has Cancer ruling their 10th house, but you might find other avenues. So.
Sorry, I'm coming.
No, okay. You're good. All right. If your ruler of the 10th house is in the 5th house. So if Leo rules your 10th house, Leo is a fixed sign. So this is someone probably very consistent with their career, fixed, doesn't change, likes to stay the same. Leos are very successful. They're very good leaders. Look at me talking so positively about Leos today.
Wow.
They are very strong in leadership roles, taking charge, making sure things get done, and being assertive. And so when you put that kind of energy in the 10th house, let's say your sun is in the 10th house and it's Leo sun and you're in Capricorn, and everything, you have a lot of planets there. This could be someone that's, very successful, very creative in how they become successful. Like maybe they didn't do the typical like go to college for 4 years, get a degree kind of thing. Maybe They did a weird like trade school or just something a little just outside of the box. Not even trade school. I was trying to think of a cool thing to say, but I don't know. I don't have a really good example for this one, but a person with this placement would be, I would say, very successful and very much in charge of their career, their success, and well on their way to the top of the corporate ladder. If your ruler of the 10th house is in the 6th house, so this person really should be careful about not stressing themselves out. So let's say Virgo is the ruler of your 10th house. Let's say your Mercury is in the 6th house. But let's also say, just for shits and giggles, that your Saturn is also in the 6th house. So if your 10th house ruler is Virgo, Virgo is very analytical. They attention to detail. The success of the 10th house is going to push them and make them very successful. They also have this tendency, if their Mercury is in the 6th house, to be a worrier. And then if you throw Saturn in their 6th house, Saturn in the 6th house a lot of times indicates issues with employees. So this person may constantly struggle with their mental health, and it may be affected by the fact that they have employees that just don't see eye to eye with them. They don't get the right people, they don't hire the right people, or the right people aren't put on their teams. It's overlooked, because anytime you have Saturn in the 6th house, it is a huge indication that you're going to go through life struggling with employees, especially if there's a lot of squares going on. So Virgo ruling the 10th house can be very successful with the right placements, but without, if you're struggling, you have this placement, you really need to look at your chart and figure out how to analyze and evolve through and progress through some things, because without that, it can be like very detrimental to your health. So make sure you're taking care of your mental health first. Always important. So, and Virgo's a hard one. Virgo, they're perfect at, trying to be perfect. And, when that doesn't happen, it's like a huge letdown. So be easy on yourself. It's fine. It's going to be fine. So, ruler of the 10th house and the 7th house. So let's say that Libra rules your 10th house. This person, let's say their Venus is in the 7th house, gives them a very, Libra is very flowy. Partnership is kind of their thing. When you have it ruling the 10th house, then they attract a lot of good partnerships. I can speak to this because I do have Libra ruling my 10th house, and I've had my employees, my assistants, my colleagues, my bosses, I've had such a wonderful experience. And I know there's so many people that can't not say that. My husband is one of them. He's like, I have not liked hardly any of my bosses, but I'm like, I literally have never had any issues with any bosses. And I always talk about them and how grateful I was for my experience. And I just don't feel like a lot of people go through that. I feel like I've been very fortunate and blessed in this area. Yeah. Julie's like, I can definitely say that it's not for everyone.
You are blessed.
I really am. I'm really grateful for it. But, Libra just being fair and wanting, there is this, I can't say that I haven't always, like, not now, but in my 20s, I 100% people pleased and manipulated my way through my careers, which, worked for me. It's what I had to do. But I did come out with some really good friendships on the other side of it. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing at the time, but Libras can be manipulative. So keep that in mind if this is you're actually, doing the work and not manipulating someone else into doing your tasks, because that's just wrong. But we've all been there. So if your ruler of the 10th house is in the 8th house, let's say Scorpio rules your 10th house. And let's say that Pluto is in the 8th house. But let's give it like a wider placement. Let's say Pluto, because that's going to be a lot of death, and I'm trying to keep it positive. So when you think of Scorpio, you think of like this heavy, intuitive, intense kind of person. And when you think of a career that is the best suited for that, it's kind of like maybe an attorney, because they love to investigate. They love to go back and forth. There's this like, they want to get ahead in their careers, and there's no one more cutthroat than a Scorpio. So get the fuck out of their way and let them do their job, and they will sting anyone who tries to get in their way. So, that's kind of a perfect, depending on other placements, perfect position for someone that has Scorpio ruling their 10th house. And maybe their Pluto is somewhere light, maybe in like the 3rd house where it's not a lot. Maybe you have a lot of things going on with your siblings or short travels, but it's not heavy like the 8th house of death or the 2nd house of possessions. Nobody wants their possessions destroyed time and time again, build up, tear down, build up, tear down. Nobody wants that kind of energy. So a lot of that depends on where your Pluto is. But if you do have Pluto in the 8th house, maybe this is someone who I've talked about Scorpios doing a lot of like mortician work or with the death or like being an investigator or solving crimes or murders or things like that. This could be a good placement for someone who likes to investigate, get to the bottom of things, and death doesn't really bother them. Definitely a lot different than Libra that we just went over. Libra would not like that. Libra doesn't even like true crime, just gonna say. I don't like
now I'm going to start asking why Libras.
I'm not for it. Especially if they're ruler of the 10th house. I guarantee you don't know Libra, the 10th house ruler that does any kind of like deal with death or anything that's really unsettling.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can't wait to ask.
Straight or something similar. Well, not really similar, but a lot of different things, but never like doom and gloom. That's not really not for me. It's too heavy for me. But the 8th house Scorpio ruling, or the 10th house, the Scorpio ruling the 10th house, right up your alley, and you would thrive in it.
So I've just pulled up a new chart. This is my friend who's watching right now, and we have questions. Okay, hold on. I clicked the wrong button. Okay, 10th house here.
At?
Say what?
Where was she born at?
Pasadena.
Okay.
Pasadena. Yeah. So 10th house is Aquarius, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that could either be Uranus or Saturn, correct?
Correct.
So could we say 8th or 9th house either way?
You could. And so what I would look at is, let me look here. Her sun is in Taurus. I would definitely say, let me look at her orbs really fast. Moon and Saturn are not doing anything. I mean, I would definitely say that this person has an eccentric job where they do things a little out of the norm. Possibly even like there's this need for this person to give back to the community and want to make things better for the community or for an organization. A lot of time you see that with Aquarians. They want to, give to the less unfortunate or some sort of organization. So it being fixed, I would say there's not a lot of change, but there is a will and want to change whatever it is this person's doing within the company that they're at, whether they grow or maybe they expand and do all these great things or start like a nonprofit, things like that. It's kind of that energy. And being a Taurus sun, there might be this like very nurturing, because her ascendant kind of squares, but the MC's at 0. I would say this need for not only to create like a very humanitarian type of lifestyle, but there's also this mother nurturing earthy vibe to this person. I don't know if that helps. I don't know what question she has, but not a bad placement. But there's a bigger need for something more with this person. And it's either this nurturing, whether it's people or animals, but there's definitely a need to create something bigger and better than herself or himself. I don't know. It's a girl, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Flight attendant.
Nice. Well, I don't know. Maybe she does something on the side and creates or maybe just does things for friends or works to help. Maybe there's a lot of like there. Maybe she likes her job because she makes friends in a lot of different places. I don't know. It is harder when there's no planets there. It's harder to kind of give like a strong like indication of what it is without like sitting and really evaluating your whole chart. But there is a need there for something bigger, I would say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Neil, if you have questions, put them in the comments.
Got you. Ruler of the 10th house in the 9th house. So this person, anytime you have Sagittarius ruling the 10th house, it is going to be, there's going to be education, there's going to be travel. This person probably really enjoys both with their career. They probably love learning and understanding more of their job or researching things. And they also love to travel. I mean, anytime I see Sagittarius anywhere, I'm like, oh, they probably change a lot. They probably switch careers a lot. Sagittarius is mutable. And like I said earlier, mutable signs tend to be the ones that change depending on which house. So, I mean, this can be a great position for a flight attendant.
For sure.
Yeah, every day, different. Sagittarius doesn't need a constant routine, especially if there's not any 6th house placements going on. And there's not a lot going on with the 6th house. And say there's no earth sign, water is okay, but this could be a perfect recipe for someone who always just constantly on the travel, just go, 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 doesn't need a routine, just free, flies by the wind, air energy. Even though Sagittarius is fire, it still kind of flows. Add a lot of air to this chart and this person is always gone. Sounds like someone is running upstairs, sorry. But I know Salem is so I'm like, who was that? Okay. If the ruler of the 10th house is in its own, this can be someone, like I was saying earlier, they can be a little cutthroat. They want to be to the top. It's not as aggressive as like an Aries. It's more analytical. It's more thought out. It's more like a game of chess. It's just very particular in how they move, and they're very, whereas like if it were Aries, it would just be like tearing down everybody. This one is more like just peeling away or whatever. I don't know. That's probably not good. They just do things more analytical and more not as aggressive. And so if you have a lot of good placements in your chart though, and say you don't tear down everybody that you work with to get to the top, you're probably a phenomenal leader. You get it. You get business. You know how it works. You know how to build people up. And, if Saturn is somewhere, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, it's somewhere in your chart that isn't so harsh, then, you could really thrive in career. But if your Saturn is in the 10th house and it's ruled by Capricorn, you might have a lot of struggles learning how to deal with people, getting along with people. You might find that working on your own is more beneficial, but you don't find that out until later in life because Saturn is slow. So
painfully.
Just likes to, really put you through it a few times, but long stretch it, because who wants to go through the pain fast? Who wants to rip the Band-Aid off when you can just peel for days? We all know that Julie and I don't have great Saturn placements, but we're here for it,
Yep.
We are here to go through the pain to teach others so they don't have to. Oh, we missed them.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. We got the 11th and 12th house.
Almost done.
Almost done. Just kidding. Okay, so if the ruler of the 10th house is in the 11th house, so Aquarius, we just looked at a chart, Aquarius ruling the 10th house, and that person didn't have any planets in there. So let's say Saturn is in the 10th house, and it's ruled by Aquarius. And so this can be someone, if Saturn is in this placement, you could struggle with making friends in a career, and it also turning bad really fast. If you think about it, Aquarius is a lot about friendships. This person learns a lot of their lessons through working with friends. Maybe you hire friends, maybe you try that, maybe you get really close to a lot of your friends and then they end up hurting you, or maybe they have Capricorn 10th house placement and they're the ones tearing you down. I don't know. But this can be someone, if your Saturn is in the 10th house and Aquarius is the ruler of the 10th house, this can be someone that goes through a lot of heartache through friendships and work related events. So, I mean, we all know it's super easy to make friends at work. You're spending 8 hours a day there with these people who you spend more time with than your family. So I don't know how anyone goes through life and doesn't make friends at work. All my friends are from work. So, we all go through good times with them, and then also spending that much time, 8 hours a day, can bring a lot of hard times with them. So, I mean, that can be there's some growth in that. There's some learning in that when Saturn is placed right there in the 10th house and it's ruled by Aquarius. There's a lot of growth there. So lucky for the chart we just looked at, you don't have that placement. So you probably had some things happen with friends at work, but it's not so heavy that life teaches you. Saturn wasn't placed there for it to be the life lesson. The daddy planet wasn't there. So, all right. The ruler of the 10th house and the 12th house. So let's say Pisces rules the 10th house. This one I feel like could be really good if you think about Pisces and their intuition and how they trust things. I never quite understand how Pisces do career things. It's never made sense to me. And I can say that I've known 4, these are sun signs, so keep that in mind. But I've known 4 Pisces women to be very successful. And the things they do make no sense to me. I'm like, why are you doing it that way? But there's something about them with their intuition and what they truly trust. And they have this knowing of trusting their intuition that is unmatchable because they know. And so I normally just trust them. I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. It makes 0 sense, but I trust your intuition and it always works out. So these people, and they also, I feel like they kind of have this luck in this placement because they're so kind and they're genuinely kind people with this placement, that they don't destroy people, tear them down to, climb the corporate ladder, to become successful. They're really compassionate. Honestly, this person should work with animals. That would be my recommendation. Because this kind of placement, they could probably make a lot of money doing what they love with the animals, because Pisces love animals, big animals, dogs, elephants. Just watch your 12th house so you don't get killed by one. Don't get stomped on by an elephant, please. But yeah, it typically is a good placement. So lots of intuition and trust.
We did it.
We did it. We're getting better.
Oh, here's Neil.
That around needs to go. Yes. Well, I definitely feel like there's the strong need for more. And so I'm sure she's happy being a flight attendant. And I feel like you're definitely fulfilled there. But I do think that there is something that's in you that will want eventually or need more. Whether you start your own organization or do a small little thing, maybe you just adopt some pets. I don't know, but
no more pets. Just 3 cats.
But yeah.
Or maybe that's the permission you needed to get a 4th.
There's a cat out there that needs a home.
No, don't say that.
She's like Googling where to find home kitties. Good for you. But I mean, typically, unfortunately, it doesn't pertain to animals because it's, Aquarius is more friends vibe. So if you have friends that need a home, you might want to take them in.
If you have an Aquarius.
I'm just saying.
I love that.
Friends need love too.
Facts. She is a very nurturing, good friend. So that tracks.
Taurus. Tauruses are good to have, man.
They are. My house is full of Tauruses right now. It's another Botox party.
I love that. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. It's been a good day.
It is.
Well, awesome. Thank you. We're almost done with house rulers. We are knocking these out of the ballpark.
I'm cruising right along. Look at us go.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if anyone has any questions, this is the time to put them in the comments. Feel free to message me or Elle with anything. The next one will be obviously the 11th house. And then our next event will be the full moon Zoom, and that will be on the 24th, which I learned today is a Sunday. So that tracks.
Oh, so
and that'll be fun.
Here and then going back to do that. Okay.
Or even if we have to do the Zoom from the car, like we're not too pressed. So we're gonna see you
at my house and do the Zoom if you want to. Yeah, you're always welcome.
I'm the one in charge of this one, so I'm like, it's my first one.
Just come to my house. Like I said, I won't be here until what time is the full moon?
I think it's at 7, but don't quote me on that.
Be back by then.
Yeah, I think especially if we're starting brunch with you early.
Yeah, no, I'm here for that. Well, I'm
I
just like,
might be tipsy.
if you are still in town and you need to do it somewhere, come to my house. I have a basement. You guys can do it wherever.
Oh yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well,
Thank
I'm
you guys
excited
so
to
much for
see
joining
you.
us.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Thank you, Elle. Thank you, everyone for watching. And take care of yourselves during this Mercury retrograde shadow. It's here. You'll notice.
Lurking above us, hovering.
Double check your destination times. Double check everything that you're signing. You know, don't
I hope
text
you're
your
not in
ex.
the wrong state. It's fine. It's fine. Check your state. Make sure you're in the right state, because nothing pisses your husband off more when he's following directions and it's taking him to Arizona, not Idaho.
Oops.
I'm like, Mercury retrograde is almost here. And he was like, no, we're not using that again.
3 times a year we get to use it, and I will.
I will. It's happened. So. Yeah,
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Oops.